Alright guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate you guys being here today. We're going to talk about starting a fire and being able to have fire as you go hiking and camping, and the uses for having a fire in the wilderness and out in the mountains and things. Why do you guys feel that it's important to have a fire when you're out hiking and camping?
To keep warm.
To stay warm, that's an important one. Any other reasons you might want to have a fire?
It gives you a sense of security and safety.
Right, a sense of security is important. There's a couple different reasons why it's important to have a fire when you guys are out in the woods hiking and camping in the mountains. You're right, a sense of security is a big one. Keeping warm is also another big reason to have a fire. You can also boil water, which is important. To have clean water is really important as you're out hiking because you want to stay hydrated. Another reason is you might want to be able to cook food if you take any canned food with you, or if you take any kind of like hydrated food where you're going to boil the water and then pour it into it. It's very important to be able to have a fire as you're there. Warmth is another huge reason that you want to have a fire, so that you don't get too cold. You can avoid hypothermia and you can take care of yourself that way. And especially at night when it gets cold in the mountains, or it gets cold even in the desert and places like that. If you might be out hiking maybe in Moab or something, it's important to have a fire so you can stay warm. And it's also a morale booster. It kind of can make you feel like you're safe, you feel happy, you feel comfortable, and people are drawn to a fire because it's a safe area, and so it's a morale booster for what you can do. What do you guys think when you hear about fire and starting a fire? What are some of the things that you can buy today at the store that'll help you build a fire? Matches, right? That's number one, I think. That helps you start a fire. Anything else?
A lighter.
A lighter. Lighters can help you.
Flint and steel. A
flint and steel. If you're out hiking, you can carry a flint and steel on you to make sure that you guys have that in the wilderness to start a fire. There's a lot of things, guys.
A magnesium lighting device.
Magnesium is a big one.
Yeah.
Okay, you can buy a lot of stuff. You can buy they sell little pouches that have like fire starting pellets in it, that have chemicals in it that start fires quickly. That's one thing you can carry in your pack with you. You can have windproof and waterproof matches. These are really good to have, especially in harsh conditions that you might be out looking at. The other one is just a standard strike on the box or strike anywhere matches. These are important to have, and you need to keep them dry. You need to keep them in a safe container, but these are good ones to have. You can also have a lighter on you. A lot of people carry a lighter with them. You can carry different kind of fire starter bricks and things, but it's always good to have something. If any of these become contaminated with water, even in the waterproof and windproof matches, if they become contaminated with water, sometimes they're useless. So it's important to have a flint and steel or something, a way to start a fire without these.
You need a dry striker.
You need a dry striker. That's right.
Do you have a striker?
I don't with me today. Not today, I don't, but that's okay. So we're going to talk about how to build a fire. It's important to build a fire. And there's certain materials that you want to use. You want to use a lot of tinder, and tinder is a dry material that you're going to want to use. You can use the inside of a piece of bark, like this here is tinder, and what I do is I just pull it apart so I can make sure I get air in between the pieces of wood, and then you're going to put that's going to be your base for the fire, and you want to put that in the middle. There's a couple different things where you can do to have a fire. There's a couple different methods, I guess you could call it. One would be like a log cabin method, where you're going to build the logs up onto the tinder like a log cabin. The other way you could do is like a teepee method, where you're going to build your tinder and your kindling into a teepee looking stance, and then light the tinder underneath it, and that'll start the fire that way, and then you continue to add on to it. Fires always start small, and then they get bigger and bigger, and so you need to understand that's a big key element to it. Also, preparation is the biggest part of starting a fire in the wilderness. You want to prepare. If I have a bunch of matches and this is all I've got, I can light this on fire, by the time I run to get some wood and then come back to it, it's probably going to be out. And then I'm going to waste more matches lighting it over and over again. I've got to waste more energy. So as you can see, I prepared ahead of time, and we've got a lot of kindling ahead of time. Kindling needs to be dry, and it needs to be something that's going to burn really well. So I'm going to use my tinder here, and I'm going to separate it and pull it apart so I've got air in between it. I'm going to put that down in the bottom. Then I'm going to get my kindling here, and what I do is I do the log cabin because it allows air underneath to get into the fire, which is going to feed your fire and help out. And you're just going to slowly build that little fire up and put some wood around it. Okay. And I'm going to use matches. I always hike with matches, but I always carry something on me like a magnesium strip and a flint and steel to help out with that. And when you light this, you got to make sure that there's no wind coming into it or anything, so that it lights and stays small. Like I said, it'll be small, and you need to watch it, and then it'll grow big. So let me light this real quick for us. Okay, the other thing is you want to start a fire from the bottom of the fire and work your way up to the top of the fire. Because the fire will burn up as the air grows, as the air comes in, it'll move up the fire and work that way. And it's nice to have a fire when you guys are out because it'll give you a sense of safety. It'll also help out with cooking your food and keeping your water pure and doing what you need to that way. I appreciate you guys coming today. I hope you enjoy your time out camping and hiking, and I hope you have a good day. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.